Hey guys, what's up? It's Mikexingchen. Perhaps the most anticipated movie of the year is upon us, the Harry Potter spinoff, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So I thought I would do a video about some real-life Fantastic Beasts. Now, the beasts in this video are not magical, but they are no less fantastic, or at least super interesting. And the best thing is, you can actually find them somewhere in the real world if you want. So here are 10 real-life Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Number 1, Tufted Deer. When you think of a deer, you typically think of this, not the vampire version of Bambi. But don't worry, the fangs on the Tufted Deer aren't used to suck anyone's blood. At least we haven't seen them do that yet. The Tufted Deer are typically found throughout regions of China and gets their name from the small brown or black tuft of hair on their forehead. Only the males have those vampire-looking fangs, and that's because they use it when they fight over girls during mating season and when there is a territory dispute. The way they fight is kind of crazy though. They first bang their short antlers together, and if one of the deer loses balance, the other deer will pounce on them and then anything goes. So maybe that's when they turn a little Count Dracula. No? Number 2, Ai. If you are a fan of the Madagascar movies and a fan of this guy, then you'll love the Ai. Ai's can be found only on the island of Madagascar. They are usually dark brown or black with a tail that is often bigger than their whole body. These little guys are able to dangle from branches because of their pointed claws, which are on all their fingers and toes. This is super useful because Ai's try really hard not to come to the ground, choosing to spend their whole lives living in the trees. These guys are nocturnal and they sleep in spheres they make from branches and leaves. They eat insects and fruits but are considered very bad luck, which is why they were often killed on sight and are now endangered. Number 3, Thorny Dragon. The Thorny Dragon, also known as the Thorny Devil, is a little lizard that is native to Australia, and you won't be able to find these anywhere else in the world. The lizard, like I mentioned, is small, only growing about 20 centimeters in length and weighs as much as a mouse. As you can see, this thing looks like it has an armor of spikes growing out of its body. That, along with its color, helps it blend into its environment. Because these things typically live in the desert, there are little water channels all throughout its body that enables the dragon to collect water from any part of its body and bring it to its mouth. And the creepy thing is, these thorny dragons have decoy heads on the back of their neck, which is used to ward off predators. It feeds mainly on ants and are able to devour thousands of them every single day. Number 4, Lowland Streaked Tenrec. This little porcupine looking thing is actually a small tenrec that is found in the tropical lowland rainforests of Madagascar. As you can see, they have a long snout with black fur and long yellow stripes. They look pretty adorable, but don't mess with them because when threatened, the tenrec can erect the barbed quails on its back, chest, and head, point them forward like a spear, and ram it directly into their attacker. Number 5, the Babirusa. The Babirusa is not your ordinary everyday pig. Maybe they taste just as good, but I don't know, and I wouldn't want to be the one hunting these guys down. They are found in the swamps and rainforests of the Indonesian islands. As you can see, they have a pig's body, and the body is sitting on really thin, almost deer-like legs, and of course, they've got like crazy amounts of curved tusks coming out of their head. Like regular pigs, the Babirusa will eat basically anything, and I mean anything. They're omnivorous and slightly cannibalistic. They feed on leaves, fruits, nuts, insects, fish, and other animals, including other Barbarusas. They are also sort of a mystery. Although the males all have these super intimidating tusks, no one really knows what they're used for. It was originally thought that they fight with them when the males are battling out for the ladies, but they actually fight by getting on their hind legs and boxing each other. Also, the tusks are surprisingly weak and will break off with just a little pressure. So it may be there just to make them look cooler and maybe more threatening than regular pigs so they don't turn into bacon so easily. I don't know. Number 6, Blobfish. This grumpy old man looking fish can be found in the deep waters off the mainland of Australia. But don't let the permanent miserable face fool you, it's actually pretty harmless. The appropriately named blobfish is made up of mainly gelatinous flesh, and it usually just floats around near the ocean floor eating small crustaceans and whatever else that happens to wander into its mouth. It really doesn't hunt well because, I mean, look at it. If that thing was a person, it would just be permanently sitting on a couch ordering delivery. And is it me, or does this fish resemble what Popeye would look like when he's 90. But don't mess with this thing, you don't want to anger its scary cousin. Number 7, giant soft-shelled turtle. This giant soft-shelled turtle is a freshwater turtle found inland along the shores of rivers and streams of Cambodia and Vietnam. They are one of the largest turtles on the planet and also one of the weirdest looking. That's probably because you're used to looking at turtles with the shell on the outside, so these guys may look a little naked to you. And it's not like these turtles have no defense. Instead of a shell, these turtles' ribs have formed a protective plating over its back, but it's still under the skin, which is not as good as shells on the outside of the body, but I guess it's better than nothing. The soft shell turtles are giants. They can grow up to 6 feet long and are really antisocial creatures, choosing to spend most of its life buried underground with only its eyes and nose peeking out. Maybe it's related to this guy. But don't let the whole soft shell introverted thing fool you. These turtles are powerful predators. It has a bone-crushing bite and has been described as one of the fastest striking animals in the world, even faster than the king cobra, so don't go messing with this thing. You know, I bet these guys would have made far better Ninja Turtles than those other turtles. Number 8, Glaucus atlanticus. The Glaucus atlanticus, also known as the blue sea slug, is a really unique marine gastropod living out in the open ocean, and is appropriately named after the Greek god of the sea, Glaucus, who was forced to dwell in the sea forever. The blue ocean slug is of course very blue, but the foot and the underside have either a blue or blue-white coloration, whereas the dorsal surface is covered in a silver grayish color. This coloration is a form of counter shading, a form of camouflage that protects the species from predators from below, sides, and above. But don't think for a second these small ocean slugs can only hide from its enemies. It's actually a formidable predator that feasts on dangerous animals like the Portuguese man of war. Not only is the slug unfazed by the man of war's stinging cells, it ingests them and then transports the toxic weapons internally. And this is very gross Wolverine of this creature. It transports them internally to the ends of its own appendages for self-defense. Number 9, the hummingbird hawk moth. This thing looks and acts like a hummingbird so much that it's hard to tell them apart from a distance. But then you get closer and then you just get really confused because this thing is a moth, but it looks like it has feathers and a tail. And why is it imitating a hummingbird by hovering in front of flowers collecting their nectar? This strange hybrid can be found virtually everywhere, but it prefers warm climates. The moth is similar to the hummingbird as it also generates lift by moving its wings in a shallow figure 8 pattern, but it's way faster. The moth bats its wings 85 times per second, 35 times more than the hummingbird. And finally, number 10, the panda ant. You guys want to know why the panda is the most non-racist animal in the world? Because it's black, white, and Asian. Okay, sorry, I had to tell that joke. While most of us have heard about the panda, probably not many of us have heard about the panda ant. The panda ant gets its name because obviously it resembles a panda in its markings, but the panda ant is not even really an ant. It's actually a wingless wasp that was discovered in the coastal regions of Chile in 1938. Now, pandas are cute, but they are actually bears and are quite dangerous. Same thing with the panda ant. Did you know their nickname is cow killer due to its painful sting, which is believed to be strong enough to subdue a grown cow? I mean, I'll tell you guys this right now, that is a terrifying nickname. I mean, think about it, cow killer. Because in my head, I would just picture a guy growing up to a cow, punching it in the face, and the cow drops dead. But for a tiny ant to be able to subdue a cow, I am never going near that thing. So there you go, guys. Those are some of the fantastic beasts you can actually find in the real world. And in case you want to capture any of them, may I suggest a Barbarossa? I mean, they might look ugly and probably smell really bad, but they can become really tame and will even wag their tails like a dog when they're happy to see you. But they might also eat you when you're not looking, so that's the downside. Let me ask you guys, let's say you can capture one of these creatures using like a Pokeball and you can sink them on different people. Which one of them will you pick? Also, if you're gonna go see that Fantastic Beasts movie this weekend, let me know how it is in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you.